My name is Jonathan Dickinson, and as you already heard, I work with the Canadian Students for Sensible Drug Policy. We've been around for about 2.5 years now, and we've grown really fast as the only national youth and student organization that works with drug policy and against drug prohibition in all forms. And we've been starting to make some big waves, saying that all too often bids for tighter legislation and Just Say No education campaigns are being justified in the name of youth. We've been using the collective chant, "No fucking way, not in our name." That's what we've been telling the politicians at the provincial level, the municipal level, and the federal level, wherever we've been working across Canada. So one of the latest catastrophes that we're having to chain ourselves in front of before it steamrolls over Canada is Bill C-15. And you guys, who here has already heard about Bill C-15 at least once today or in the past? Good. So I'll refresh your memory a little bit, and it'll be a little bit of education for those of you who haven't heard of it already. But Bill C-15 introduces mandatory minimum sentences for some drug offenses. And this is the same thing that they've been using in the States for the past 20 years. But you can be pretty sure that nobody in Florida or from the White House is calling up Stephen Harper and asking him to introduce these, because the same states that have been the most effective at filling up all of their prisons with mandatory minimums are starting to repeal those laws right now, just as we're trying to introduce them. Why? Because after 20 years, their experiment on hundreds of thousands of American citizens hasn't worked at all. It hasn't produced the effects that they wanted it to. And yet we're taking up the same stance anyway, so the conservatives can politically say that they're being tough on crime and hard on drugs. But so what we're trying to do right now is we're trying to contribute amendments to lessen the punishments that they're trying to introduce for these bills. Chances are that it's going to go in, and there's going to be mandatory minimums for some drug offenses. So let me tell you a little bit about what it looks like right now before we get a chance to make amendments. It means that you'll get 6 months mandatory minimum from 1 to 200 plants. So if you're growing one marijuana plant in your house, mandatory minimum of 6 months, and the judge gets no discretion on that. If you're in a rental property, that mandatory minimum becomes 9 months in jail. With trafficking, there's no mandatory minimum penalty, but if you have any aggravating factors, such as you're dealing to a minor, or you're dealing in or near a school, or anywhere frequented by youth, which could be a park, a mall, a movie theater, then your sentence goes up to 1 year or 2 years. And let's say that you are an 18-year-old who has some 17-year-old friends and you're passing a joint. Technically in Canada, that can be considered as dealing by a judge or by the police officer that arrests you. So if you're doing that at a park and you're 18, you're passing it to your 17-year-old friend, you could be getting 2 years in jail. And 2 years in jail means that that's a federal prison sentence, not a provincial sentence. So you're being taken straight out of high school, straight out of college, straight out of work, whatever it is that you're doing with your life, and you're being put into jail for 2 years. So that's the Canadian Students for Sensible Drug Policy works on issues like that, and we say, fuck that. Don't do that in the name of protecting youth, because that's how the Conservatives have been trying to pass this bill. And I'm sorry if I have to be a buzzkill for everybody that's in earshot when I'm telling you that, but that's sort of the state that Canadian drug policy's in right now. So last week, CSSDP brought students from Toronto, Kingston, and Montreal into Ottawa to meet with Liberal MPs and to try to get a sense of where they stand and to sway their opinion on C-15. Unfortunately, like I said, it looks like they're still going to vote it through when it comes to vote, and we're trying to water it down. But we're getting some strong feedback that it's really made some waves. And the plus side of this, the plus side of the tightening legislation that the Conservatives are bringing in, is that it's giving drug reformers a chance to go in and educate all the opposition parties about drug policy, and they're getting schooled pretty good. So, yeah, come to Ottawa, please. Or if you have a phone or if you have email, then please get in touch with your MP. It's super effective. We've been getting really good feedback from just doing that kind of work. So, anyways, this is part of the work we do on the national level. And CSSDP, the Canadian Students for Sensible Drug Policy, is a grassroots network of youth and student chapters. We got a chapter at Dalhousie University in Halifax, Simon Fraser University and UBC on the other coast, and we have over a dozen chapters scattered all over Canada. So it's my job to do whatever I can to provide networks and tools to all these chapters so they can work on whatever interests them and whatever is really important to their community at the time. And so part of my mission for being here today is to try to find some people to start some chapters in Toronto, because right now we don't have a very strong base in Toronto, and there's lots of work that's being done by other organizations, so we need to fill that gap with youth and students and get them on stage. I kind of see CSSDP in a very similar way to how this stage and this PA system is helping me now. It's a name and it's kind of like a brand, but we have a reputation that you can use. You can come and use this, and all you need is a voice and some ideas to step up, and we'll help you amplify that and bring it to wherever you need to bring it to, whether it's into high schools to do youth education, whether it's to the streets to help people that are working with addictions on different levels, or whether it's to places like this, whether it's to politicians on whatever level of politics you want to work on. We can help you do that. So come and talk to me. We took down all of our stuff because it started raining, but I'm going to be around for a little while. I have business cards and stuff. So again, I want to say thanks to Blaine and to all the other organizers of this for having me out here and inviting me to speak. Take care, guys. Have a good day.